Hello and welcome to English 0365 week 5. How are you doing this week? Well, I hope you're doing well. Fall is here. The weather is getting much better. Hope you are able to enjoy some of it and you have enjoyed it this weekend. And I also hope that you're feeling more comfortable with the class, with the pace, with the organization, and that now that you are familiar, you're able to spend a little bit less time doing each activity. We're quickly going to review some portions that some of you have still asked me, the syllabus and changes to the syllabus, PowerPoints from the book, the study help, and the reviews and summaries for the reader. As I've told you in the past, one of the ways of seeing and organizing each week is to start with these weekly notes, but also make sure that you have the syllabus with you, because sometimes you ask me questions and they are right in the syllabus. What I do when I'm making the notes for you is I get the syllabus and I highlight everything that I have completed, so that way I can see what I have concluded and what I still need to do. So that's one technique that might help you. Of course, not only the syllabus, because there are things that change. So for example, let me give you an example from last week. Last week, the syllabus said that you had to do homework number 3 and it was due week 4. If you remember, I changed that assignment and it was optional now, because I realized that you also had to take a quiz this week, and so it was probably going to be a little bit too much for you at the end of the week. So for those of you who wanted to get extra points, or those of you who still needed help, I left that assignment but as optional. So some of you were asking me, you were confused between the syllabus and what you had to do, and that's because you either didn't listen to my notes, or you just went by the syllabus, or you were not even aware of it because you had not looked at the syllabus. The next thing is the PowerPoints from the book. Those are really the best first tool to get the book. I don't know how many of you are studying the chapter looking at the PowerPoint, but I know I've talked to a couple of you who told me you are doing that, and it helps you because it helps you to organize the information and to study it in a quicker way. I had one of you call me this week to ask me where you could get the answers for the chapter. You didn't know how you could check if your answers were correct or not. So I just want to remind you, you can just go to Study Help and you will see the answers for the chapters that we have already studied. So today I just opened answers for chapter 3, which is the chapter we have just finished studying this week. And here you can check the answers. Let me show you real fast. Okay, so here we have chapter 3, supporting details, review tests 1, and then you have all the answers here for all the different review tests and for the mastery tests as well. There are some answers in the back of the book, but not all of them, but here you have all of them. So if you have any questions about whether you have done something right or wrong, you can check right here. In addition, this week I'm going to add summaries for the chapters that you have studied from your reader. So you will be able to see the summaries for the first 3 chapters. So I will note that on the left, so just look for summaries of the reader and you will be able to see them. In this case, the book that you are reading, The Immigrant Advantage, but it could be any reader that we are reading on a particular semester. Alright, so this week we're going to be looking at implied main ideas. So now you know what a main idea is, right? It's the central point of what you're reading, or the central point of a text, the central point in a conversation. However, sometimes the main idea is not stated directly, it is implied. That means that you have to kind of read between the lines to see what the writer or what the person who is speaking is trying to say. It's not so easy, and it just requires a little bit of practice. So let's look at the cartoon on page 143. What is implied about this conversation? So these 2 ladies are speaking, And now one of them tells the other, well, Kenny hasn't spoken to me in 2 months. He won't return my calls, and he's been seeing one of my friends. Do you think I should break up with him? What do you think the friend tells her? You're right. He probably already broke up with you a long time ago. That's the implied meaning, because he's been doing some actions that imply that he's not with her anymore. So this is in the form of a kind of a joke, but in real life, when you are reading, a lot of times they don't tell you black and white what the author is trying to say. As a matter of fact, a lot of times you have to guess. But the important thing about guessing is that you're just not making any guess, but it is an educated guess. I have added here another PowerPoint with examples. I would like you to do those, and again, you do not need to send them to me, but if you do them, you can check the answers at the end of the PowerPoint. Let's just look at one together. So you'll find this under week 5. You see a PowerPoint for implied main idea, and it's exercises. And so there are 5 paragraphs. Read each paragraph and then write what you think is the implied main idea. You can just write it on your notebook on a piece of paper, and then each implied main idea is stated for you. Okay, so let's look at this first one. I will only do this one together. You can read along with me. Scientists who work with domestic turkeys are concerned. A new disease has been identified that's responsible for the deaths of sick and healthy turkeys. The disease is called round heart syndrome. It expands the hearts of turkeys to 4 times the normal size. This causes turkeys to die of cardiac arrest. It is not unusual for healthy turkeys to die as well. When they see a turkey that has died, some turkeys become so panicked that they go into convulsions. This often leads to their dying of a heart attack too. Okay, so what can you imply from this reading? Maybe there'll be fewer turkeys around for Thanksgiving. Yeah, that could be one implication. What's others? What are scientists worried about? They're worried that both the turkeys that are the sick ones and the healthy ones are dying, right? And they're worried that maybe they don't know the cause. That could be. Okay, so here are some possibilities. They're worried about the health of domestic turkeys, and they're worried that maybe there's a new disease that's responsible for the deaths of these sick and healthy turkeys. Right, so there's something new. Now, they're not telling you in the reading that there's something new, but that's probably what it is. Okay, so you're welcome to do the other activities here just so that you get a little bit more practice. Okay, I checked this week Townsend Press. Not everyone is doing the Townsend Press exercise, and some of you are still asking me, do I do them? How many? You do all of the ones that says mastery test. You don't do the exercises. And so what I do is I add up an average of all 3 or 4 of the activities you have to do for the week, and you just do them there. I go there and I look at the results. You don't have to send me anything. You just click save right there on the website, and I will be able to see the results. Some of you are not doing so well on some of the exercises, so that's why you need to practice. Let me know if you're having trouble with this, and maybe you can come to my office, or you can call me and we can do 1 or 2 together. This week I'm asking you for a little bit of feedback. As always, I really appreciate your opinion, and sometimes I change things after I talk to some of you. So in the discussion board, besides having to answer questions from the book and from the reader, I'm asking you a few other questions which are feedback. Now, the reason I'm not asking those questions privately is because I think that you guys can benefit from the feedback that you can give to each other. But I am asking you to send me one piece of information via email. And what is it? Well, I would like you to tell me around how many hours a week do you estimate you're spending in this class. I just want to take an average. So if you don't know, maybe you can count this week, so how many hours you think you're spending, and send me an email. If you already know, send me the email now. If you don't, send it to me by the end of the week, so I have a good estimate, and so I can kind of have an average of how many hours you're spending. Okay, well, that is pretty much all that I have for you this week. And I hope that you have a great week. And if you have any questions, as always, please let me know.